Alright, crew. Let's do a few readings. I know it's been a while since I've done this. Um, I've got quite a few people lined up. You know, some of you asked me for a specific person, so I'm going to try to do most of them today. These are going to be quick readings, but, hopefully we'll still, get some interesting insights about certain people you might be interested in. So let's just get to the point. Jon Jones, very interesting face, right? This is not a man you want to screw with. Lots of boldness, lots of bravery, lots of inherent wisdom. This is a man who is like substantially grounded. This is a man who understands what life is, and this is a man who lives outwardly. Meaning, he's a true risk taker. If you ever want to see a face of like someone who's a risk taker, but he's also kind of like constructed this very strong mental and physical core to be able to take these stressful situations. And he plays game like life like a game, right? And he fights like that, and he carries himself like that. This is one of the very few human beings who really understands to what extent life is a game, right? And even his name, like look at his name, man. Like it's Jon Jones. It's like John Doe. You know what I mean? Like it's to a certain extent, like all of us need to realize that we need to get out of our shell and just understand what life is. And this is a man who has unlocked the secret to what life is, and he's playing it like a game. Like he's an incredible liar. Okay, incredible liar, and he has a lot of dualistic force on his face, right? He says that asymmetry, but he's a natural born leader, very brave, very bold, a fighter's fighter for sure, incredibly mentally strong. Like, it's one of the most mentally strong people that definitely I've seen. And he just plays life like a game. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a crap. He doesn't have. He's emotionally independent with a low degree of empathy. So that kind of like does explain some of his more questionable, most questionable parts. And like I said, a lot of dualism on the face. Definitely a massive liar. You can even see in this picture he was kind of like embracing that vibe of just like they're playing it. But yeah, I can't really say he's outwardly immoral sometimes, but I can't say that he's like a behind the scenes snake type of, you know what I mean? Like, he's just outwardly immoral sometimes, but that's just Jon Jones. Love him or hate him. That's what I can give him. But I definitely admire how bold and brave and a true fucking badass he is. You can tell with some people. You look at their face, like, okay, this guy's a friggin' bad. Look at these battle scars, man. Just a look at this. Like, this man's a warrior. He's a lion. You know what I mean? Eminem, super interesting one for me. The interesting part about this man is like the difference between when he was younger and when he's older now. He's more of a mechanic than an artist. That's like I imagine him like more as a producer than an artist. So someone who's like this master producer, master director, who basically decided, oh, you know what? Like, there's a rapper out there doing what I want to be kind of like producing or whatever. And he just like decided, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it. Now, a lot of producers fail to do this. Obviously, because they don't have the push, they don't have the inner drive and the will to do it. But Eminem has a lot of aggression, so he's emotionally very independent as well. This is something you see in successful males a lot, and he's trying to become, like, he's younger here. He's trying to become even more emotionally independent. So this kind of tells you something about this person, right? And he definitely has all the signs of someone who is like a learned practitioner. So there's very little inherent skill, actually, and like you would think like, oh, he's so talented, whatever. But he's just someone who is like what I call the mechanic, someone who studies things as a science. So he studied it as a science and perfected it as a science, and then he added an emotional backdrop to the music, and that's where his success comes from. But outside of his success, look at this man. This is a shell of a man. that you see here. This is a shell of him. This is someone who's confused, who's definitively overeating sugar, who's definitively on some sort of drugs or like skincare routine, some weird ass skincare routine. Someone who is miserable and very much so depressed, in and of like just in their own head. You know, they feel trapped. They feel trapped in their own head. You know, someone who has this sort of discoloration to their face and this sort of like unhygienic look. I see a lot of self-hatred. I actually see a lot of self-doubt. You know, I don't like M right now, what he looks like. I don't like it at all. Like, look at the energy like on his beard. You know what I mean? Like, this is like at his age, this is not the beer man should have. Get it? Like, you know, there's something wrong with this dude. He's confused, he's lost, he's mentally exhausted, like he might be, you know, dealing with some stuff, but definitely, you know, I think he's feeling guilt. He's feeling guilt for something, probably behind the scenes. You know how these Hollywood people are. You know, he's feeling a lot of guilt, and he's like slowly like wilting, you know, so to speak. So yeah, very very unfortunate for this guy, but I can't respect a man who looks like this. He's done something fucked up, and he knows he has, and it's just go away. Zendaya, very interesting one for me. She has like this slyness to her, and she has like these very hypnotic eyes, right? And this is a very interesting thing, because usually like when women have this, and she's still very emotionally dependent. See, like she's still very emotional, but he really wants to seem like she's not. She really wants to seem like a true woman, like fully fledged. Get it? Like she really really wants to have that image. This is her like a little bit younger. You can literally see how she's still a child here, right? And these seductive eyes, like, you know, women who are very childlike usually develop these types of features as a self-defense mechanism to basically convince men that, oh, like there's such like this sophisticated woman, when, you know, in truth, like they have a very like a almost like a weaker infantile aura, infantile energy, right? So this creates the illusion of depth, right? This creates the illusion of depth, and it's a very predatory thing as well, because it mirrors. You see how she doesn't have that when she's younger? She literally doesn't have that. But then, you know, 3 or 4 years later, or something like that along those lines, she has that now immediately. Well, and what this does is it mirrors kind of like your doubts or whatever. It's a very judgmental look, right? People get hypnotized by this because it mirrors your biases, it mirrors your judgments back into you, so you basically like don't figure her out because she has such an infantile energy. So I can definitely see that, you know, like she's a child, you know, like she's a kid. Like she is not a woman right now. She's still a child, and, you know, she has like those childlike dreams, childlike ideas about life, you know, so on and so forth. You know, there's a definitive threat here of her becoming a little bit of an a-hole. No, but I don't see that she's a terrible person or anything like that, you know, which is very rare very rare in these circles. You guys know what's up. But yeah, you know, she has like the childlike energy. She is a little bit self-absorbed, as all of these people are, of course. You know, she likes, you know, kind of like being impulsive and decisive to that regard. But she also has a good, how to say, like a mental database here to kind of like control those impulses, so on and so forth. He needs a partner. Like alone, she needs a partner who will basically, like, you know, love her, kind of like spoil her, treat her well, and she will reciprocate. Yeah, there's not much I can say about her outside of that. She should be really careful to not manipulate people. That's her kind of like her dark side. Like, she should be really careful with that. It's gonna hit her back really hard if she does. And then I have Madison Beer. I don't even know who this lady is. I think she's a singer. Definitively, like, it's unfortunate that I have to say this, but, you know, like every time, you know, it's like, you know, bipolar disorder, mental issues, the internal strife, some sort of abuse that she's had to endure in her like early years. There you go. You see that? Like, it's so friggin' clear. And then, you know, this is what they call her glow up, I guess. But yeah, you know what? I can't say for sure. but definitively some sort of abuse, some sort of mental issues that you have here. Like her outwards expression is okay, but she has a lot of internal strife. She has a lot of internal strife. Yeah, she's quite slutty. In that regard, you see this, right? You see this, like, naturally, like she's very sexually active. She's very, very sexually, how to say, inclined, very sexually inclined. So she's one of those women who has very little standards for herself, and she'll definitely, like, fuck just for the, whatever. Like, I find it very difficult to respect women like this. Very, very difficult, because you can read it on their face. It's more like, oh, they're like this innocent, like, high school sweetheart or whatever, but in their full expression, in their adult expression, like, they're like this. Look at this. Like, you're very typical crazy girlfriend material, right? Very typical, very, very typical. And these types of women who are very eccentric and very self-absorbed, they also have a pridefulness to them, usually, and this pridefulness gets them in a lot of trouble. And this pridefulness actually allows, like, predatory figures to basically prey on them and basically exploit them and use them. And it's just like a reflection of who they are, right? Because they kind of, like, look at the world through the lens of, okay, how can I use this, or how can I use X or whatever, and while searching for that, they get used themselves usually. And then that, mentally hurts them, because they're very prideful. That hurts their ego a lot. They're very, very prideful, right? So, yeah, usually there's a lot of good I can say about, people who are extremely famous, but obviously I don't want to, like, say, oh, it's, like, all bad. But, like, she has a certain decisiveness to it, that same impulsivity that Zendaya has. And you see this a lot in women who are popular, especially in the West. A lot, and she's a go-getter in that sense. Like, she'll just go for it. Oh, she wants a guy, she'll just go for it, whatever. But she's very reckless, Zendaya, she's not reckless. She's more careful. She's more on the defensive. She's a receiver in that sense. Even though she will go for what she wants, she's not going to take, like, a direct route, right? She's gonna go, like, from the sides, sort of something like that. This one, you kind of, like, you get what you see type of energy. So, yeah, those are some quick readings for you guys. Follow, subscribe, follow my Twitter at Jack of Faces. Buy my face reading if you want a full face reading for yourself. It's gonna change your life. Peace out.